Hi there. In this video, I would quickly want to show you how to use the Automate and the Generative Design workspace in Fusion 360. So Automate is a feature that Fusion 360 provides, which helps you design some organic shapes to connect more than one part to each other using the help of AI. So let's see how it works. For example, in my use case, I've got these two parts that I would want to connect together, and there are some other parts in my assembly, let's say, that I would want to avoid. So how this works is that you need to have the parts that either you want to connect or avoid. So just to make it clear and easier to visualize, I'm going to paint the ones that I want as green and the ones that I want to avoid as red. I can click on close. What I'm going to do next is click on automate. You get an automated modeling dialog box. It first asks you to select the faces that you would want to connect together and also the bodies that you would want to avoid. The only next thing you need to do is to click on Generate Shapes, and Fusion 360 will create a lot of alternatives that will solve this problem of connecting these two faces by avoiding the two bodies that exist in between. So you can click on alternatives and see that Fusion 360 starts preparing some of the models. It takes a couple of minutes. So just after a minute, you can see Fusion 360 has started generating some of the designs for you to see. This is a nice way of generating some form shapes that you can do using the form workspace as well. But this gives you an initial shape that you can start working with. For example, let's choose the alternative 5. You can also choose the volume of this part if you want to reduce the volume a bit, if you want to increase it further, that's up to you. So if you're happy with one of the solutions, you can just click OK, and that body will be exported to the Fusion workspace for you to work with as a normal body. You can use the combine tool to combine all of the existing parts into one single body. And this is how you use the Automate workspace to design something organic looking very quickly. Once you have created the designs, you need to perform the finite element analysis to be sure that these strongs are strong enough. The next example I want to show you is of generative design. And if you scroll down into your data panel, you can see that there are some generative design samples available that you can check. So let's have a look at this GE bracket. If you open the file, it will show you some parts that require to be connected. So the blue parts that you see, they need to be connected together by avoiding all of the red bodies that exist in the assembly. If you further go to the ready to generate folder, you can see that they have changed from the design workspace to generative design workspace. Over here, you have to select a preserve geometry, which is basically the parts that you want the final model to have. The obstacles are the parts that you want to avoid, similar to how you did in the automate workspace. And there are some other things as well that you might have to select. Other than that, you can select the manufacturing technology that you are going to use for manufacturing your parts, like 3D printing or CNC milling and various others. You can also select objectives like minimizing the mass of the material or maximizing the stiffness of the part. Similar to FEA, you also have to create load cases where you define the loads and the constraints of the body. Once you have set up this generative design study, you can click on generate. Next, we are going to see some of the solutions that were generated as a part of this generative design study. To have a look at different solutions, you go to the Explore workspace, where Fusion shows you all the designs that it generated as a solution to your required study. You can click on any of the designs to see how the part was generated. You can look at all the iterations that the part underwent. You can look at the stresses, the mass, the volume, and all the other factors that you might be interested in. You can also see the finite element analysis of the part where it shows the stresses. You can also compare more than one part, but if you want to use the part in your design, you just click on design ready, click to continue, then you can open the design. Once you have the design open as a separate file, you can always create a component and save the file wherever you want. Just to verify, you can open the file that you just saved into the original study to make sure that it fits perfectly. And over here, you can see that the generated design avoids all of the obstacles and connects all of the preserves. In the Explore workspace, you can also see the obstacles and the preserves existing in the same workspace. So hopefully this gives you a quick overview of generative design and the Automate workspace in Fusion 360.